Well,
hey,
back,
I know
folks.
you. You're that guy.
Well, you're the guy last night. You were on there. So.
Ping.
No scene ping.
That's a great
scene
one of the
pings.
great stories of all time.
Well, it is a great story. I think we've told it too many times.
No,
but
not
nonetheless, he's Buddy Martin. I'm Brenden Martin. Welcome to the Orange and BlueBloods Show tonight. We're getting the gang back together. Everyone's going to be checking in with Ben Troupe and Loren Meadows and Francis Beard are all going to be in. We got our cool little graphic behind us. Buddy's checking in. He's back. And want to tell you guys to smash the subscribe button if you're watching on your desktop computer or your laptop computer. Go ahead and look for that little YouTube button in the bottom right-hand corner. If you're watching on your phone, all you have to do is pull the chat down. And when you pull the chat down, you'll see a subscribe button. Hit it. You'll get notifications that we are live. It's all good stuff. And we can continue to bring this fantastic content for you for free. That's pretty much it. So stay tuned. We will be back right after this.
It's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
There it is. Dilly dilly to all you folks out there in YouTube land. Let's see who's our pole position on tonight. Robert Anderson. Rob Anderson.
Rob Turner.
Rob Anderson.
No. Rob Turner.
Why is it Rob Turner? It says Rob Anderson. Is there something I don't know? Is he in the CIA?
Well, I'm looking at my first client. Hello, everyone. Gators, Robert Turner.
Ooh, you're getting a little pixelated there, Budro. Rob Anderson is in our pole position, and you're right, Rob Anderson. It's getting rural on us. Rob checked in this morning on the other Rob show that we're on, or I'm on, that Buddy's on sometimes, that I'm the new executive producer of Sideline Sports Network with Rob Brown, covering SEC sports every day, 5 days a week, sometimes on Saturday. Had a great show today. Talked a lot of Auburn College basketball. Hello to Mari D. Gaston. Hello to Rob Anderson. We said that. Kelly Lee. Kelly's also on the other show. Good to see you guys migrating over.
Different people on mine. I got Michael Burton, Terry Johnson.
Maybe I got different people. I got the wrong thing up. That's the old show. That's all right.
I think that's right.
That's okay. It's what? I do so many shows, Buddy Martin. I didn't think I reset my chat. So.
I never get much on here. I never get much run on my show anymore. It's always about some other show.
Buddy, do not start with that. Please.
By the way, the Gators basketball score, they were trailing by 10, 77-67. They made a nice run at the end. They lost that game. Women's basketball go to 10-8. Ole Miss is now 14-5. So Becky's the Gator women did not have a great night. So, Gerard Smith said, let the big Gator 8. I'm fired up about the latest portal players. It's 36 degrees in Red Wing, Minnesota. Wow. And
that's cold.
ice mixed in just a plain wet cold. Go Gators. Good to hear that weather report from you out there, Gerard Smith. And look who's here.
Francis Beard, the Iron Duke. Check it in.
That doesn't look like that's been Troupe to me. That's
that's because he's right here. Ben Troupe. There you go. Okay, we got the whole gang on board right now. It's already getting live up here.
Going 4 wide or not even started.
Hey, you know,
hey guys, did you happen to see Ole Miss just landed both starting offensive tackles from Washington?
I did see that actually. I did see that.
Yeah.
They're starting to be they get the 30-day window now, right? Just like Michigan.
Oh yeah. But I got to tell you what, Lane Kiffin is building something really formidable, and it comes at the right time. I mean, he's got the quarterback coming back. He's loaded up on defense. I mean, they have 5 all-conference guys from SEC and other conferences coming in, and now they've loaded up on the offensive line. They've got 4 humongous offensive linemen, and their offensive line wasn't bad as it was. They only averaged like 580 yards a game in offense this past year. They're not bad.
Not bad. Hi, Ben Troupe.
What's good with you, Brenden? I mean, I was gonna say this. They got a tight end over there with Ole Miss. It's pretty freaking good. I know he came over from Memphis. He was hurt most of the year. He gonna be a factor. Lane Kiffin won 11 games last year. 11. And 11 games, people ask, why did Lane Kiffin go to Alabama? He said, because I don't want the pressure of trying to come behind Nick Saban, and I won 11 games, in Mississippi.
And they didn't want him, by the way. Alabama did not want him.
The thing about a guy like Lane Kiffin is everybody thought when he went to the SEC West, it was just to get on Nick Saban's nerves, which that could be a part of it. But he's turned out to be a pretty good freaking coach, man. I mean, Tennessee ain't the same monster as Ole Miss. Atlanta, right? Because up until this point, he's been really, really good. And now, you know how it is, Franz. No Nick Saban in 2024. What's going to be the excuse not to represent the West? Because, I mean, Auburn, Hugh Freeze, they still got some ways to go. LSU, they're going to take a huge step back because you're going to have to replace Jaden Daniels. And outside, I don't know nobody who's going to really contend with him. I know Texas and Oklahoma coming to town, but I think Ole Miss going to be the team to beat. They was really, really good in 2023. They're going to be even better 2024, and you getting offensive linemen. But I got to say this, though. I know I'm just jumping on. To everybody that had something to say about Billy Napier when everything jumped off when it came to this transfer portal stuff, I don't hear much. I'm not hearing much lately. I'm not saying he got the best crop, but he's doing pretty good. And I hear the safety from Washington. I mean, I don't know yet. I hear the safety from Washington might be deciding on them Gators here coming up.
I would be surprised if he lasts beyond the weekend.
Billy Napier has done a really, really good job.
I think Asa Turner picks the Gators this weekend. Ben, I got to tell you something. If you're looking at all of a sudden what looks like a very solid football team, this Florida team doesn't look flashy at all, but they look really solid all of a sudden. You start looking at it, you start thinking of the dynamics. They bring in these 2 tackles. That's going to allow them to move Barber and George inside, where Cameron Waits, they also still think Cameron Waits is a guy that could be a guard or a tackle. Now you got size in the middle. You got Jake Slaughter, you got Najee Harris, who I think eventually he's going to have to play somewhere, whether it's guard or center. You got these guys. And Billy Gonzalez told me personally, he said, I love our freshmen. He says, our freshmen mean we can go vertical every single play. And if you got the capability of going vertical, you know what that does for a tight end underneath. You know what that does for a tight end in the middle of the field. You know what that does for Trey Wilson on a drag route. Holy cow. And Connor O'Gara made an interesting point today, buddy. Who is the leading returning rusher in the Southeastern Conference?
TTN? I don't know.
No.
Montreal.
Montrell Johnson is the leading returning rusher. Not only that, he's the leading career returning rusher in the SEC. Not only that, Trayon Webb is going to be an absolute beast.
All right, I'm hearing all this talk, and that's good. I'm
And
glad there's some.
No, I was gonna say I know this weekend was dominated by a certain someone who is now a married man. Congratulations to
Thank
him.
you very much.
But all I know is the thing about a guy like Billy Napier is no, it's not gonna be sexy. No, he's not gonna dominate the headlines, especially when everybody thought NIL is the problem. NIL is the problem. No one says anything. No one said anything about Harbaugh. He took the money, didn't he? Of course he took the money and he left. No one says a word because
Let them boys to stew in their own mess and let them behind drive.
That's funny. The problem is NIL. It is the death of college football. No, it is not. Do you know how many players don't get a dime? We can do a show called "What the Hell is NIL?" Because I know players right now.
I like
Be
that.
hitting me. I don't even know how they get my cell to my being. You think you can help my son? Hell no. I got my own son. No, I can't help your son.
Plus, you got Buddy and Franz to worry about. For
Get his
crying out
money
loud.
up. Billy Napier, Graham Merce is back. Montrell is back. Osiris Torrance. Shout out to Osiris Torrance, all rookie team. The only O lineman at football Buffalo that played every snap. So shout out to him. But I think you're not going to replace everybody that you lost last year. I mean, who can? But I think he's made some pretty good pickups in this portal and the guys coming in. So yes, nobody's played yet. Just like Graham Merce told me, Ben, people gonna laugh at us until we get out there. But this schedule, my goodness, 2024. But but we'll see.
Well, I got a philosophical question to ask as we get ready to tee up our sponsor tonight. I want to be sure and thank our folks, sponsorships, especially tonight with our friends over at Titan MRI, who do such a great job for us. I'm thinking, Brenden, you'd take part in this too. I was thinking tonight, if I could have Billy Napier for an hour just off the air and say to him the things I would just like to see him do differently, or things I think he should be concerned about, or what's missing, what's the thing, what are the three things that bother you the most about this program? And we know some of them are fairly obvious. And having said that, they aren't that far away. I mean, a half a dozen players could change the world for them. But there's a lot of depth to this SEC. And you think about, you can't even, you've got Steve Sarkisian in there. You got new coaches. They've got 8, 9, and Brian Kelly may wind up believing going to Michigan. That's the latest, though. What happens there, a situation at LSU. So anyway, the bottom line is what do you, and I ask each of you, if you're having a beer with Billy, say, Billy, let me coach you up on a couple of things that I think you really need to do. And not the least of which, I'll just go ahead and say mine and say, you need to talk to the people directly and stop talking around them. Just talk to the people about what you're doing. Explain in your common everyday language and not just in press conference, what is your plan here? We think we know, but when he doesn't say, it makes you think he doesn't know either. So that's one thing. Be more forthcoming, Brenden, to your public out there. I didn't like the comment he made when he said, it's not my job to explain the problems of the fans. It is his job because he needs those fans. That would be one thing. The other thing I would say would be, don't make it seem like every decision has to take 3 weeks to make. Move on things when you know they have to be done. Don't sit back and wait. Why did he move faster on the portal? He didn't understand it clearly. Those are two things. And you can say what you want to, but I'm still embarrassed to look at that defense, what it had become for the Florida Gators. I've seen some great defensive teams in Florida. This ain't one of them, obviously. So it needed to be fixed faster. Those three things are things I would tell Billy if I had the opportunity. Brenden, can I go ahead and read Titan MRI and let you guys respond to that? Are you all right?
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
All right. Titan MRI is worth the short drive to Gainesville. No insurance is no problem. You can pay with cash or a card with same-day scheduling available. Start feeling better today because Titan MRI is North Central Florida's premier independent facility. Come see why hundreds of patients are visiting our Gainesville location from Ocala, Marion County, the villages. That's TitanMRI.com sponsor on the Buddy Martin Show. Who wants to go next? You're having a beer with Billy. Here are the things I'd like to see you do differently, the things that disappointed me.
I mean, I don't know if I can. I mean, it would be hard to address it now because
I'm somewhere having a. I mean, if I'm sitting there with Brenden and Brendan's like, all right, man, we ain't on the air. Say it. I'm gonna say, listen. I'm gonna say we got to stop being consistent and being inconsistent. We are the most inconsistent team you will see, and it bothers me. The second thing is stop going for it on fourth down. Stop doing it because you're not getting it. Just kick it. Just punt it. And number three, which is always going to be this. Listen, you got to make common sense decisions. I'm not talking about things that we go, oh, no, I'm talking about what everybody knows. Like just do it. Make the because when you try to be complex, when you're not, it makes the game look weird. You start doing things that don't make any sense. I can't stand the fourth down stuff. As a former player, I would love to have gone for fourth down if we're getting it. We don't even get it. We can pick up 3rd and 16 and get 4th and 2. But we got to stop being like we are. We Florida is good enough outside of maybe that team from Athens right now. They're good enough to compete with anybody in the SEC. The problem is they can get beat. And you can't have a team like that. You can't have a team that's good enough to win, but, inconsistent enough to lose. You can't deal with that. Other than that, man, I mean, I do agree, buddy, with some of the things you said. I just think that with Billy Napier, look, man, you know how to answer questions, man. Don't say things like it's not my job. Of course it is. Of course. Even if you don't think it is. If players got to deal with the fans, you sure as hell got to deal with them. So, yeah, don't say things like, I don't got to deal with the fans. And here's the thought, and learn how to get people like Buddy and Franz to pull them to the side because you need sound bites. Coaches need little sound bites. Say, I spoke with Franz, and I don't know why coaches don't. I don't know why he ain't utilizing you guys in a better capacity. I was drinking with. I don't remember nothing of that. So after that, I blacked out. So
I don't even remember it. I wasn't even there.
You know what I would tell him? I would tell him the fans are not your enemies. They can be your best friends, however. And they'll be your best friends if you'll just show a little bit of humanity. Show us a little bit of who Billy is. We don't know.
I agree with that.
I'll give you a good
Who
example.
is Billy?
He's
not Nick Saban, all right? He's not Nick Saban.
Well, let me give you a good example. The first year he came here, Urban Meyer is practicing out on what is over by the Southwest Rec Center in a field over there because they were redoing the practice fields. Nate Meyer, all of 6 years old, they have a tackling dummy there. And he is running and flinging and heaving himself into it. We got that on video. And there's Shelley watching him. And Urban, during practice, looks over there and sees him and runs over there and pats his son on the head and kind of like, go get him. And now that may not seem like much, but we got Mom, we got one of the kids, and we got Urban taking even 15 seconds out of his practice focus to acknowledge his 6-year-old son.
It humanizes him.
Everybody thought, how cool. How cool is that? We don't know. I mean, I know Billy's got kids because Buddy said they were well behaved at his opening press conference.
Yeah,
Billy,
true.
Buddy was recognized as a question, and then the first thing he said is, "Your children are well behaved."
He said sometimes.
So we know he has children because of that moment.
Great point.
That's the only moment we've known about his kids. Mm-hmm. Don't know about his wife. We know that because he made a mention that he took the job at South Carolina State because he could be close to where the woman he was going to marry was.
And she asked him about Steve Spurrier.
And that's it. We don't know anything since then. Billy Napier needs to be. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a movie Rodney Dangerfield was in, and he's going to inherit a bunch of money, but they got to try to humiliate him. And he says, they dress him up and he can't stand the all dressy clothes. He says, I need some regular guy clothes. They said, regular guy clothes. And so he's wearing a striped shirt, plaid shorts, black knee socks, high, loafers, etc., like that. And it becomes a hit thing, but it's called regular guy clothes. Billy Napier doesn't need to dress like that, but he needs people to see him as a regular guy. You can be who you want to be on Saturday. You can be like that. You can be like that during practice days and everything like this. But when it's not practice, you need to be a regular guy, and people need to be able to see that.
What kind of a guy do we think he is? That's the question. What if you knew Billy Napier based on what you said, just on what your hunches are, Brenden? What would you say? What kind of a guy would you think Billy Napier is?
Well, I think he's a really nice guy because, I think I think a lot of people like him. I mean, that's the opinion of most people that talk, about Billy that have been close to him, including Allie and a handful of people. And he's also, been very successful recruiting in a lot of ways where, I think the recruits buy in on what he has to say. So I think he's a likable guy. I think he's probably, what we've heard from Strickland, a year ago. He's obviously very organized. He's very meticulous. He's constantly analyzing things. So and I think he's always trying to get better. So I think he's probably humble to some degree where he, is willing to, admit that, hey, this is not the best plan of action. He's willing to make change. We've seen that. So I think all around, I think he's a really good human being. I don't think that's, and for me, I mean, I'm good. I don't need
that matters. That matters.
Yeah, but I don't need to meet your kids. I don't really. I mean, God bless you. I don't really. If that's for me, I don't really care about any of that stuff. I just want to win football games. I'm a Gator fan, no matter what. So I want to win football games. So if I'm going to sit down with him, I'm going to say, listen. First of all, I probably don't have a right to even criticize you right now because who the hell am I, right? Just some, guy with a microphone, but with an opinion. But if I would say, hey, look, if you really gave a, about what I have to say, I would say, well, you seem a little there seems to be too much static in the attic. The communication between your staff seems to be struggling on game day. I think we've talked about that. I think we've outlined that. I think you've got, too many cooks in the kitchen sometimes with coaching. There seems to be a lack of overall understanding of what the big picture is potentially on game day. Who does what, where, when, and why? That seems to be sort of the overriding for me, the theme of last season. So I would think I think that would be my biggest knock. But again, look, you're trying to do something new and different and hard. I get that. My biggest thing I would probably say to him, and this is something we've talked about, and we've talked about with Urban Meyer. We've talked about it on this show. We've talked about it. Please get an offensive coordinator. Please.
Brenden, this bullet just came in from Matt Corduaro. For our Washington safety, Asa Turner has committed to the University of Florida.
Oh, excellent. There you go. Wow.
All of a sudden now the back end of that defense looks like it could be formidable. Triquezie Bridges, who is a tackling machine, and Asa Turner, who's a ball hawk. And these freshmen aren't bad either. Like Castile, who has just tremendous speed, etc. This, bit by bit, it's shaping up. And again, I'm not going to predict wins and losses next year. I mean, over the last 2 years, the Gators, they should be better. You know, you take a touchdown a game away on the average, which is what Ron Roberts is coming here to do. That's what he did at Auburn. He took a touchdown away, and Auburn went from a team everybody predicted to be 3-9 to 6-6 and scared the hell out of everybody they played. He took one touchdown off. You take one touchdown off in the last 2 years. What's Florida's record, buddy?
Probably 17 wins, 18 wins over 2 years.
19-6.
Okay.
19-6. If you just take a touchdown.
You got to win those close games. I heard Bud Grant quoted the other day, and Spurrier says it all the time. To be a champion, you got to win close games.
Oh,
Got
absolutely.
to win the close games.
But you can't give up 30 points a game, which is what they've done for the last 2 years. If you just gave up 23 instead of 30.
Yeah. Well, while we're pondering this and pondering this new safety that we'll find out more about, let me pose this question. I've thought about this. You know, in golf, particularly, Franz and whoever's played it, and other sports, sometimes when you're not catching the ball, Ben, you do the right things, the ball's not coming in your hands. It's possible to overthink the situation.
Oh, you think?
I think maybe Billy sometimes is guilty of overthinking. You guys agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, but the whole thing about it is too, the thing about the whole is what Franz said about, you know, the regular got closed, right? When I used to play in Florida, they used to tell us this, and I didn't get it at first. They said you got to win the perception game. Now, when you're young, I'm like, dude, not only did I could not spell perception, no, I didn't know what it meant. But as I got older, I understand, because we'll never get to know Billy Napier personally. But the way it's like Paul Feinbaum and Nick Saban. You would think Paul Feinbaum talks to Nick Saban every day, but he's gonna be the one say, "Oh, well, let me check." You know, now he's gonna ask Nick Saban the hard questions, but you do got to win the perception game, because the reason why you got to win it, because until reality catch up, you better win the perception game. Because reality, we know what the reality is. That's what your record say it is. Well, for a guy like Billy Napier, it's saying, look, you need to build some allies, man. Yes, I know we talked about Harbaugh earlier, and I say he went to the Chargers. It took him 6 years to start winning the Big Ten. Now, once he started winning it, he didn't stop winning it. But Michigan ain't Florida. Big Ten ain't SEC. And shout out to, you know, Harbaugh and what he's done. I think for a guy like Billy Napier, is just you got to simplify, man. Football is not that difficult, man. It's really, really not. Don't over.
You know what that term?
3-year-old that used to do it. That when Coach Spurrier used to listen, I had Ron Zook. You know what Ron Zook talked about all the time? Winning. And we won a little bit, didn't win a lot. You know who never talked about winning? Coach Spurrier. Never. I'm talking about. You know what he would say? He say, if we go out there and execute like I know we can, we got a shot. He never said we would win. And every time we lost, which wasn't a lot, is because we didn't execute. Think about that. The greatest winner I've ever had the luxury of being a part of, you know, when he came and recruited me, you would think winning coaches talk about winning. Process. And to this day, Coach Spurrier didn't even throw the ball to the tight end. He threw it to Kirk Kilpatrick, I think. I think he threw it to him.
He did.
He didn't throw it to me. He didn't throw it to Aaron Kenny. and we still with it. But at the same time, as much as Billy Napier is doing players, team become players.
I hear Franz slurping, but I don't hear Ben.
Do you hear me?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Ben.
Your internet keeps busting up.
I keep hearing Franz slurping, and I don't hear you.
I'm just saying, when it comes to Billy Napier, hopefully he'll understand that the one thing I can't control is perception. I can't control nothing else. I really, really can't. And that's most people.
But perception is everything. Perception is everything. Perception is reality, really.
Listen, perception is the only reason why you argue with people about other people. You argue with them because they affect the perception. When somebody goes, them teams in them college teams in the middle of the state of Florida, they pretty good. Talking about the teams in Tampa and Orlando. No, the hell they not. Yes, they are. They got Gus Malzahn. I don't care who they got. But the perception is UCF is a great program. And they had to imagine if Mickey Mouse tried to show up in Gainesville for a fake parade, we'll beat the hell out of Mickey Mouse. You gonna get your behind back down there on that? I'm just telling y'all right now, what's hurting Billy Napier is perception. Billy Napier has never sat down with you, Buddy Martin. And listen, we know how humble you are, buddy. That doesn't make any sense. You don't think the new coach of Alabama gonna sit down with Feinbaum, even if he wasn't on SEC Network?
He already did.
Still gonna sit down. I just don't understand certain things, and that's the part that to me is I don't want to call it sad. I mean, I respect what the man is doing, but if you ain't building no allies in the media, what are you doing?
Here's something, Ben, that I'll tell you. Everybody used to talk about how Georgia skated. Everybody was always talking about Georgia coaches could walk through a sewer and they'd come out smelling like a rose. And you know why? Claude Felton got the media. Every single media member, and it still happens today, gets 15 minutes a month with the head coach. Every single one gets 15 minutes a month with the head coach. If you're on the Georgia beat, you're going to be able to sit down with Kirby for 15 minutes, just like you could sit down with Mark Richt for 15 minutes. It's not a long time, but it's long enough to get questions that only you can ask and get answers that only he can give you. He's not answering to 50 other writers. He's only answering to you. Claude Felton's an absolute PR genius. I worked with him in Savannah. Buddy, you've known him probably almost as long as I have.
Yeah.
And you know,
he knows what you have to do to get you to do your job.
Oh, heavens. You know, we had one like that for years and years and years at the University of Florida, who understood that, guess what? People need to know who our guy and our guys are. Ron made everybody available for us.
I just want to say, what is not perception? Some of the dumb remarks I've seen on the message boards. I love that fans write us and give us their opinions. But what has this got to do with perception and reality? Cat Fan writes, Spurrier's teams were feared, not so much now. Hello? Is Spurrier coaches not where I know about? You think that might be a little bit outdated? Spurrier's teams were feared, not so much now. Tell me what that means, Ben.
Hold on, I was muted. I guess they're talking about.
You want me to read your lips and tell them what you just said? I read your lips here, Ben. Ben's lips said, "Are you out of your mind?" Okay,
listen, I don't. Listen, my internet must just be all crazy tonight. But I will say they must be talking about Florida now compared to Florida back then, because, like I said, if Steve Spurrier teams were feared when he was at South Carolina when they was going 11-2. They were feared then, huh? He was feared at Duke. They were feared at Duke when he was winning then. The only time
it really speaks to what you're talking about, which is perception. Perception was they were scared to death of Spurrier, right? They were scared to death of him.
Listen, I got into it with another Georgia fan as of recent because they asked me when I was at Florida. They said, "Oh, you didn't really play against no good Georgia teams." I said, "Who? Quincy Carter? Who? Moses Smith? Who? Richard Seymour and Marcus Stroud and Shackley and Ross Bailey and Tony McMichael and David Pollock." They said, "Well, lost." I said, "Don't give me that. Some of the best players ever came through Georgia was when I was there." I said, "But this is the difference. You're talking about perception. Georgia already had this in their mind, man. We can't beat them boys, but I don't know what it's about." And I didn't think mind games really mattered. Oh, it mattered in Jacksonville when I was down there. And then you know what? Rex Grossman and Alex Brown and Lito Shepard and Bart Gaspar and Gerard Warren told us when they left, "Hey man, don't y'all boys start losing to Georgia when we leave." They told us that. Don't start losing when we leave, and we didn't. So when people say, "Hey man, we weren't the best," listen, My team, I won Spurrier's last SEC championship in 2000, my freshman year. We weren't the best. I wasn't on some of the best teams at Florida, but I wasn't on the worst either. And I'm not gonna put it in no era. But when people say, hey man, of course it is. Ask Jim McElwain. Ask them coaches that came through Florida that still get looked upon to be coordinators and head coaches, what Florida do for you. So when people say not so much fear now, you know how shocked teams are when they come into Florida and win? You know how shocked Arkansas said, man, that salvaged our season. They ain't even make a bowl game. Because beating Florida is still big. It ain't as hard as it used to be. But we just got to get back to it. Like I said, man, I just think that when you talk about a team like Florida, we gonna win the perception battle nationally. We a national brand. We just got to get that product up to speed. If Billy Napier can recruit like this and not make bowl games, could you imagine what he could do? You don't believe me? Anthony Richardson went 4th overall and he won 6 games, which means if he wins 9, he gonna be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I think
I love seeing Florida wins 9 games. Man,
yeah,
Buddy, Brenden, and Franz. Think about this. When's the last time Georgia had a first-round quarterback? The last time you can remember.
Fran Tarkin? I don't know.
It was Matthew Stafford with number 1 overall, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Matthew Stafford.
2 years ago, Florida won 6 games, and we had the 4th overall pick. The 4th. You think other teams can do that? Alabama can't do that. Auburn can't do that. Tennessee sure as hell can't do it. I'm just telling you, there was a D lineman that went to Georgia that said, I went to Georgia because Florida don't put out D linemen. I said, boy, I would have slapped the hell out of that boy with baby powder. Florida don't put out D linemen. No, Georgia just recently started putting out interior D linemen as of recent.
Yeah.
Hey, let me.
Jordan, Trayvon Walker in there. All this stuff is crazy. Billy Napier, you know we rooting for you. We got to. You family. You are family until you not. But right now you family. But it's like certain family members is frustrating because, like I say, Billy Napier can still recruit, and the product ain't on the field as far as wins ain't there. If you start winning some games, man, it's over.
Right. Speaking of which, man, Franz, help me on this. The people coming in later are just hearing about the pickup of the safety. And then people come on and say, oh, guess what? We got Ace. Can you give us an update on that? And I'm gonna duck out of here and let Loren join and so you guys can carry on. But I think it's an important story to update the situation with the new safety, what you just were talking about, Franz. If you would update that and get Ben's comment, and I'll duck out after that and we'll play our spot, Brenden, and we'll let Loren come in here.
Yeah, Asa Turner is the new safety. Committed. He was at Washington. He is a real ball hawk. He is a guy that is known also to hit you and hurt you when he does. He was injured a lot this past year, so he didn't get to do as much. But he has a history of intercepting passes, breaking up passes, and he has a history of making people who come across the middle wish that they had made appointments with their dentist well ahead of time. That's how hard he hits. He is important because they signed another safety named Trikweze Bridges, who is coming here from Oregon. And this is another guy. This is a guy that they can put on a slot and he can cover people. So this is an important pickup. Here's what Billy Napier's done. And again, Ben, you're right about one thing. He still has to win on the field. But one of the things we've talked about from the beginning is he has to make this an SEC roster. He did not inherit an SEC roster. There were too many holes in the roster. And let me say something in defense of Dan Mullen here. For all of the crap Dan took, Dan did really well. You know, until he put on, his big mistake was he put all his marbles on Emory Jones. And Emory's a great kid, but Emory Jones may be the only quarterback in NCAA history to go to 3 different schools and take all 3 of them to a losing record as the starting quarterback. I don't know if anybody has ever done that. Emory Jones has a chance to be a terrific slot receiver in the NFL if he can catch the football. What he does not have an opportunity to do is be an NFL quarterback. And Dan replaced Kyle Trask with Emory Jones. And other than the fact that he had a great game against Alabama his first and only year as a starter, and the Gators win that one, if not for a special teams blunder. Oh, when have we heard about special teams blunders? They've been here since 2021, and they haven't changed. But you take away that, and Dan did well without recruiting well and patching the holes. This is what I see Billy's done. Now, the question is this: can he start winning soon?
All right, let's stop right there and answer that question after this commercial. And then we'll bring the Loren on, and I'll duck out. Meldon Law, of course, is one of our key sponsors. At Meldon Law, we pride ourselves on how hard we'll fight for our clients. We understand the great responsibility which our clients have entrusted us when they choose us to represent them. We limit the number of cases we take so we can give our full attention to each one. Our Gaines and Ocala personal injury attorneys are here to make this process easier for our clients. We'll explain what's happening in simple terms every step of the way. So go back and check them out. Meldon Law, Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City. Also, you can go online, Meldon Law, the Facebook page. They give away lots of tickets. So check out Meldon Law. They'll fight for you, and they won't back down. Gentlemen, have a good night, and I'll say good night. And you guys, I know Ben wants to make some comments. Talk to you again later. Have a good week.
Happy honeymoon. Dilly dilly.
Thank you.
Now, we're bringing Loren Meadows. Hey, what's up, Loren? Welcome to the show.
I mean, 6'3". You can't co-size. So, looking forward to having him. His name is Asa, right? A-S-A? Asa?
Asa Turner.
Yeah,
Asa Turner.
Turner.
Yeah. Asa Turner. Yeah. So Loren just joined the show. Buddy's just dipped out. I mean, guess he just shows up and leaves when he wants. I didn't punch out. He didn't punch out of the clock.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Dilly. Listen, big pickup with Asa Turner. I think how does this change the complexity of the defense now? What does it add? And let's focus on Loren. You heard this, right? We just picked up Asa Turner from Washington. What's your opinion on him? Does it help? Does it hurt? Obviously he's coming, pretty badass guy coming in, and safety has clearly been a position that's need to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, you talk about Trequezie Bridges and Asa Turner both. You got 2 guys that have a ton of snaps under their belt. I've talked about it for a year now that Florida really needs some play now type safeties, guys that could come in and lead these young guys for the next year or so. I think the relationship with Will Harris and Turner will be key. They kind of understand each other. And, the big thing with that defense is they got to get all 3 levels on the same page. I mean, I don't think it was just a talent issue for Florida. I think it was a disconnect in the communication, the way that they were preparing, the way that they were practicing, and even the game plan at sometimes. And that's what when you don't have those things in play, you look like a really bad defense. And I think that was the issue the last 2 years. And that's why you saw some of the changes and some of the exodus. And I just think everybody wasn't on the same page. Now you've got Ron Roberts, you've got, who basically is the father of the creeper defense, and, Will Harris on the back end. And the defense should be a better coached team. Now, they still got to go out and make plays, but, definitely Asa Turner and Bridges both coming over from the Pac-12, what used to be guys that have meaningful snaps, I think will be key. So, keeping Manny Nunnery in the fold and then adding some of the guys they've added up front. I mean, the defense definitely can improve, and it may be addition by subtraction, as some of the guys did us a favor by leaving. So, it's just one of those things.
Showing the
So,
door, maybe.
Long way to go. But, in my opinion, and I've heard you guys kind of talking about it, and I want to be cynical for a minute. And I haven't done this, but I know, Brenden, you'll allow me this because we talked about it, is
I will allow some cynical.
Yes. I want to go back to about week 5 when there was all this scuttlebutt about how Billy Napier, while he was trying to salvage a season, had already told recruits that he was going to hire an offensive coordinator. And it was laid down on the line, and everybody was stamping it. And on this show, we were telling people, how would you even know that there was a qualified candidate in week 5 of a season to be the next offensive coordinator at Florida? But everybody still, they knew it, and they were putting it out there. So I want to say, for all the 4 of us that kind of agreed that, hey, the jury's still out on this, that did not happen. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So,
Not gonna happen.
Be careful who you listen to and what you go by, and really understand how this thing works in the big picture. And that's what I like about the group we have here, is we really take our past experiences, our knowledge of the game, our knowledge of coaches. Some of us were coaches, played the game, and understand that that's not how it works. So going forward, let's just put that to bed for now, and definitely know that it wouldn't happen the 5th game of the season.
Here's something I do like, is the fact that by getting Asa Turner, you can play Asa Turner and Troupe Bridges on the backside. You can take a guy like Ron Moten now and put him against a tight end down there against your move guy who's a tight end, because now all of a sudden you bring him in there and you got a 220-pound guy that's really not a true safety and really not a linebacker, but he's that hybrid guy. But that's what most of these guys, tight ends, who go in motion all the time are. They're hybrid guys. They're not good enough to put a hand in the dirt, and they're not really fast enough to be wide receivers, so they run them in motion and everything like that. And then they get them out. Then they get them out through some deceptions, a little smash and grab and so forth like that. But this is a good thing, because now you've got some flexibility back there. I loved Castell last year. I think he is a star in the making. But now they've got some flexibility. And I think that, tell me, guys, if you don't agree with me, one of the things that was lacking last year is it seemed we had no flexibility. We didn't have guys that all of a sudden you say, hey, we need you to be be a nickel guy. We need you to be that hybrid guy that plays down close to the line of scrimmage because you're almost a linebacker. We did not have flexibility, and I think this guy, adding him, gives us more flexibility.
Well, look, defense wins national championships, right? I mean, that's just an old adage, right? We've heard that from every coach. So you can't complain about bolstering what was probably the worst defense, that we've seen in a long time, which was hard to do because the year before was worse. But I think I got to agree at least to the fact that, from coaching to personnel all the way down, we're going to see a whole different defense, especially a secondary, which just got abused. So I think we're really going to have an opportunity. I think, and I'm echoing what you said, Loren, because you said this the other day. It says, why would you at this point, at this late in the game now, go get an offensive coordinator unless you did somebody internal, and then go and try to install a new system and everything else when you had a pretty decent, offense last year, and you got your returning, stud in Graham Mertz coming back in. I think, at this point, I think you're thinking I'm going to be as badass as I can on defense and try to go get some guys to block. And you're thinking I'm pretty set up. I mean, you guys agree or disagree? I mean, look, I still would love him to go get a really good offensive coordinator in a booth, just a voice in the booth that can speak some reason to him, because I don't think, and Loren, we talked about this, I don't think he makes the best decisions in moments of certain games where where even Urban Meyer and everyone else has admitted, hey, look, I am never going to win those natties without Dan Mullen in my ear telling me, no, that's a bad idea. Yes, go for it. Yes, do this. It is that voice of reason that sees a different ball game than you're seeing that you've got to trust. And that's my only knock on it at this particular point. Getting better at defense can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, when you look at Florida offensively, there are some schematic head scratchers, and then there's some decision head scratchers. So you look at, the Georgia play on fourth down. Not that the offensive coordinator would have cured that, but that's what people point to, some of those plays. But then I look at, I think it's like 2nd and 7 at Missouri. They go 4, doubles. They never play 4 wides, but let's just say both 2 tight ends or a tight end, receiver, 2 receivers on the other side. They run dive, play fake, and then all 4 receivers hook up at 6 yards. So I'm asking Ben Troupe, who played in that, who are you reading there? What is the play fake for? Who are you reading? So schematically, that's an issue. So we'll just talk about that. But here's the thing, is the reason I think that an offensive coordinator may not be a great idea. A voice in the booth, yes. Could he send Rob Sale up to the booth, bring Stapleton down, which is, what they kind of had last year, was Stapleton up in the booth, Sale on the field.
He's got to trust it.
Or does he give Sale right? But what he does have, and this is one thing, like I've said on this show, Graham Mertz is a dude. But not just is Graham Mertz a dude, he truly has control of that offense. Indicative of late in the game against Arkansas, where you could see him actively changing and putting people in position, and then he throws the ball in the middle of the field late in the game, knowing that we got to get down, we got to spike it, we're in the middle of the field, and we're in good shape. He is in control of what Billy Napier at least is trying to do week to week. So to bring somebody in, unless they think exactly like Billy Napier, I think would be really tough. And obviously there's nobody out there like that, or he doesn't want to kick one of the offensive line coaches to the curb, and they don't even have the spots anyway. So we come back to that.
They're out of spots, yeah. Ben?
I mean, everything Loren's saying is dead on. I mean, the thing about it is, as bad as Florida defense played last year, they were still in every game. They're not going to beat Georgia. We get that. They still could have beat Missouri. They still could have beat Florida State. Look, what killed the first game of the season was the first play of the whole game. Once that happened, look at the sideline. Oh, I'm telling you, Florida, in spite of what they didn't have last year, they was in every game. Think about it. In spite of what they did not have, and let's call it what this really is. Everybody was, not us, everybody was waiting on Graham Mertz to not be. He was great. And he was great last year in spite of a defense that he believed in because they was his teammates. But I told you, you got to play complementary defense. Whatever your team is bad at, it has to be complementary to what it's good at. The offense is good. We thought that the offense was going to play second fiddle to the defense. We were like, hey, going to take the offense a little while. They never did it. It never did it. And the thing about the defense was, it's not. You can't give up that many rushing yards. You just can't. You're not gonna win because teams they will listen, man. We're just gonna get away from what we said. We're just gonna run the ball. That wasn't even the game plan. But when you're giving up that type of rushing yards, it's gonna be hard to be in games. But I think the thing about Florida every single year is it be something that happens in the game to be a head scratcher. Every game you be like, what was that? Like what type of don't waste, only get so many of them. Don't, and it's something you just said, Loren. You don't do play action for 6 yards. You don't, for what? You don't even play action for what?
You're just wasting time.
No, here's the thing. If we were watching the smallest level of football, right? I'm coaching my 8-year-old nephew's team. He ain't even 8. He's 4, but right. If I told him to do a play action pass and his little teammates did a 6-yard route, the crowd gonna go crazy. Ben, what are you doing? Look, that's what I mean. Don't do things that nobody does. Like, here's another thing. And Loren, you weren't on yet. If you're gonna go for it on 4th down, you got to be in the positive. You can't be 2 for 6, 1 for 5. Just punt it. Because when you don't get it, look at this team. Don't think, and the offensive coordinator thing really bothers me. It really, really bothers me because recruits can hear that. Recruits can see that. Mm-hmm. And they be like, wait. Oh, and I got to say this. Now, Billy Napier ain't crazy. You know the best thing he did is also hire Will Harris. Oh, he out there getting them. Oh, Will is plucking them like this. He is plucking them boys like this. If you don't think pulling coaches from the NFL help you recruit, you better think again. That's the easy way to, man, you coming from the league? Yeah. I know what they're looking for. Look at these safeties. Look at these 6'3", cornerback 6'3", big, tall. So I'm always going to be frustrated with Florida only because if we weren't good enough, these conversations would be totally different. But we are good enough. Think about that. Even with what you said, Franz, even with not having a full SEC roster, we still competing. And like I said, take one touch, don't even go for coach. The reason why I don't coach is because I'm in the staff meeting room saying, Coach, why do we keep going for it on 4th down? What is it about 4th down that you seeing that we not? We ain't good at it. That's why it's so hard to do it. Stop doing it, punt it, and hopefully, like I said, I like some of the additions, man. I think that what they did as far as like trying to fill some gaps, they was able to do it. Yes, they haven't played yet, but Graham Mercer's coming back. A full year under his belt, comfortable in the offense. Don't got to figure out, is he going to be the starter in the spring? He ain't going to be out there in the spring. I mean, he going to be out there. He ain't going to be throwing passes, not with the team. Sit your behind down. We'll see you in the summertime. But I just think this Florida team is one that, look, they're gonna be a head scratcher until we get out there. Yeah, we know we got that team from South Florida. Yep. They think they're ranking on down there. Got problems too. But I just think for Florida, do the simple things, and do the simple things efficiently. And when it comes to the complex, let's show we got a little, because we got some guys coming in. I mean, guys coming from UW and Oregon and Alabama and South Carolina. We got some guys coming in, not to mention those guys we recruited. But
let me throw a couple things at you guys. Will Harris coached Asa Turner in 2021. Washington gave up 142 passing yards a game. Now, this is interesting because Florida last year gave up 164 chunk plays. 164 of them. Offensively now, and this goes to what Loren was talking about, the Gators had 190 chunk plays. You know how many Georgia had? 260. You got to have more explosiveness in the offense, number one. and the defense has got to take explosive plays away. You got to get off the field. How many of the explosive plays the defense gave up were 3rd and 12s? You cannot give up 18-yard passes on 3rd and 12. You consistently. You can't give up. What was it in the Missouri game a couple years ago when Missouri converted? It was like 4th and 21, and they got it. How do you do that? You got to change that. You've got to bring down the number of chunk plays you give up. You got to have more numbers that you do. I think, and I know we're hitting the end of the time here. I believe that Florida might very well be closer than we think to having a roster that's capable of. Interesting 2 words there, and I hope people will pay attention to what I said. Capable of. I didn't say will do. I said capable of. I think they're a team that is capable of addressing the problems of last year and doing much better dealing with them. Capable of doing it and doing it. That's the. See that? That's one ear, that's the other. Is the stuff going in this ear and going out that one? Or is the stuff going in there and staying between my ears and I'm getting it done? Because I think too many guys in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, simple.
Comes in
simple
here, exits there. We need it to stay between the ears.
Well, it's going to get real interesting right now. Obviously, now we see Asa Turner coming from Washington. Now Michigan is going to be entering into the 30-day window. We've got Bama. There could be all sorts of interesting things happening in the next 30 days that who knows what's going to go on, which is, considering you've got the 2 teams that, played for the national championship are now literally having yard sales or not selling any, basically not making any money, but these guys are going to be looking to jump ship because you got 2 giant shoes to fill, with these 2 coaches, or actually 3 if you put Bama in there. So a lot of players and recruits are changing their minds. Florida might be that natural spot. So if you start, continue this trend, we could see a lot of really good talent show up here in the next 30 days, which could be very exciting. Gentlemen, we have gone on our time. I want to say thank you very much to Ben Troupe. Ben Troupe, how do we find you if we want to listen to more of you?
Listen, you can send your money to. I'm just playing. At Ben Troupe.
Put up your Venmo. Come on, put it up.
Hey, that's what we're doing now. My cash. Listen, at Ben Troupe 84, man. Make sure y'all check out the podcast. 84 Reasons. Just had Hayden Hansen on. I think he's 6'6", 6'7". I know he's really, really tall, and he wears number 89. But I always enjoy.
You won't hold it against him.
Great family too. Great family. Hansen family. Great people.
I'm gonna come up to Savannah and fix your damn internet. Is what I'm gonna do.
Listen. Listen. One thing about up here, Brenden, we might not have good internet, but we got cheap liquor. Don't come.
Listen. The thing is I know how to pirate good internet, and I will drink the cheap liquor. So therefore, you'll be double your.
Let me tell you what. He'll take you to the Crystal Beer. Listen to me. He'll take you to the Crystal Beer Parlor, where you get their burger smothered in onions and grilled onions, and that is fine eating. Yeah.
Oh. I don't think Ben. Yeah, fine. I'm coming up there soon. I'm coming up to see Ben.
Oh yeah, ain't no vegans in where I'm at. We got them the hell out of here.
Do I look like a vegan? I don't even look like a vegan.
Our show. We need to do our show from your studio one day.
Not with his internet.
And do your afternoon show.
Listen,
I'm not doing any kind of damn show out of his internet.
I don't know what happened this week, but if I see my internet dude, I'm gonna say, Brenden. I say, listen, Brenden.
Tell him to call me. Call me, internet dude. Call me.
He said, I saw Brenden. I saw Brenden out
See, right now you just like a whole bunch of junk.
That
was me. You'll know. Just tell him to call Smoke. I'll take care of him. Ben Troupe, check it out. We're gonna see you on the sidelines there with Rob Brown here pretty soon. You know, I'm the executive produder of that entire
listen,
show
I'm
now.
not gonna make no promises. Listen, when I first got into this media world and I tried to do the whole sideline,
no, sideline sports with Rob Brown. I'm gonna have to start doing.
You know, I'm gonna be on there with Rob Brown.
Well, I'm the new executive producer of the show.
Hey, listen. When he told me, he said, "I said, boy, you must have."
I'm gonna get you some headphones too. Put on that hat of yours. Yeah.
I said, you must have some deep pockets if you got Brenden. You got Brenden.
We're gonna be rich, bitch. It's gonna be great. All right, Ben Troupe. Thanks for checking in. Have a good night. He's Ben Troupe. Franz Beard, what are you writing about tomorrow?
Well, I guess I'm writing about Florida's defense.
I guess so. I guess I know what you're writing about
and
now.
I got to write about the basketball team, which pulled off a really good win over Mississippi State. Has Georgia coming in with Mike White. And
basketball.
Here's the thing. If the Gators are 4-3 going into these next three, because these next three are going to be beastly, because they've got to play at Kentucky, at Aggieland, and then they got Auburn coming in here. AUBRIN. There is no such place as AUBURN, Alabama. You have to talk to anybody there. Where'd you go to school? Auburn.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. There is Auburn, Alabama. It's kind of like Clemson, South Carolina. There is no such place as CLEMSON. It's Clemson. There's T in there. Clemson. Where'd you go to school, buddy? I went to Clemson University.
Clemson University. You can check him out, Franz Beard. He's on GatorbaitMedia.com. Go check him out. Subscribe. He's going to have Wright's Thoughts of the Day and all sorts of stuff, and you will be smarter if you read it. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, bud.
Good night to Franz Beard. We're left with one Loren Meadows. Hey, by the way, click this little QR code and you can subscribe to this show. Yeah, that's right, because we could use some more subscribers. Stop being haters and subscribe, because the chat room's been full of a bunch of people that need to get on some decaffeinated immediately lately with some of your comments. He's Loren Meadows. Loren, I know where to find you. There's a story in Drafts right now about women's basketball, is there not?
Yeah, just talking about the Unlaced docuseries. For those that really follow Florida sports, women's basketball has been in some bad places over the years, but I think they really got the right person with Kelly Ray Finley, and she took her recruiting specialist, sent him out on the road to every single player's home to speak with the parents, former coaches, and things like that. And I think it's great because you guys talked about not really knowing who people are, the coaches, things like that. And she's really been, generous with her time, her players' time.
Recruiting.
And I think that has helped in recruiting for sure. But it's also helped increase the attendance at games and things like that. So
love it.
Quite the following. They're dealing with some injuries, and a couple girls were under the weather. So, but they're in every game, which used to not be the case at Florida with women's basketball. But, check out the Unlaced on FloridaGators.com. And for Van Der, for anybody that is from the state of West Virginia, they do not say West Virginia University. They say WVU. So
is that what they say?
WVU. Yep.
There's no some kind of like weird Franz Beard accent that goes along with that, or
WVU.
WVE.
Yeah, I went
at the VU.
Yep.
All right.
So
he's
Marshall. You go to Marshall or WVU.
I know. People told me the other day
which used to be a pretty hated kind of nasty rivalry, but now that West Virginia's in the Big 12 and Marshall's in the Sun Belt, not so much.
Somebody told me the other day there's no accent in Ohio. I said, you haven't been to the Ohio I've been to.
Oh, there are some accents.
There's some accents.
Once you get, there's accents everywhere. But really, once you pass Columbus and you head south going towards Athens and Steubenville, places. For Van Der, West Virginia State is just state. I'm going to state next year. So
that's how they do it there.
That's the alma mater of my late parents, both West Virginia State grads. So
Loren Meadows, thank you. Check him out on GatorBaitMedia.com and right here on YouTube. Probably going to have you over to Sideline Sports here pretty soon.
That'd be awesome.
And yeah, we'll have you on soon. Thank you, sir. You have a good night.
All right.
You say good night to Loren Meadows. You're stuck with me. Hey, thanks for coming out this week and supporting this guy. You guys have been awesome for the most part, which I don't expect everyone to be super awesome. You know, it is sports talk. Want to tell everybody real fast about our sponsor. It's been with us forever and ever and ever and ever. It is Renstar Medical Research, the research facility located right here in the beautiful North Central Florida, one of the fastest growing retirement areas in the country. Renstar research staff works with local physicians in private practice and community hospital settings to provide a multidisciplinary team focused on meeting enrollment goals while ensuring strict regulatory and protocol compliance. Why? They do clinical research trials, all sorts of them, free memory evaluations, Alzheimer's disease, Alzheimer's prevention, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, dementia, diabetes, all sorts of really helpful things, not just for this community, but for all of us as a whole. You got to check them out over at Renstar Medical Research, renstar.net. That'll do it for me tonight. We also want to tell everybody to make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out the door. If you want to read Franz, buddy, even Loren sometimes, and we're going to get Ben Troupe to one of these days to write a column. And we got great stuff all the time at GatorBaitMedia.com. Woo! 15 hours of podcasting this week. Thanks for all those that have slugged it out. We always appreciate it. And check us out. We'll be back Monday. Yeah, Monday. I don't think there's a show tomorrow. There's no show with Urban tomorrow. I don't think so. But you never know around here. That's why you got to click the subscribe button. That's why it's all that important, because you get those notifications and you get them all for free. So thanks, everybody. As always, welcome the newest Gator, Asa Turner from Washington. Big deal. Safety coming in. Billy's making some changes. Looking good. We always say, you make the show and go Gators.